Welcome David and his wife Amanda, Mayoress of Basingstoke, and you our audience. Great to see so many familiar faces, thank you. For those who don't know me, my name's Graham Kent, and together with my wife we run the Fantastic Hair Company. We've been established since 1990, and we're often asked what FHC stands for, Fantastic Hair Company. So we're quite modest about ourselves. I have some thank yous to do tonight. The balloons were blown by Susie from Balloons for You. Thank you, Susie. She doesn't look out of puff at all. Premier Stores provided the wine, and the wine is served by Joan. Tina over the back is serving the teas and coffees, and they were provided by Mars. Our sponsors tonight were Lane, Monington and Welton. Our photographer is Gary, and our video man is Brian. So thank you to all those guys for your help. For those of you who are old enough to remember, the Beatles always had a fifth man. George Martin was considered the fifth Beatle. Our fifth Beatle is Ivan. Ivan's with Aristocrat Discos, and he's the man who makes it all happen for us. So thank you, Ivan. Our raffle is now becoming famous. I believe we have something like £2,000 worth in prizes, and hopefully you'll go home with something tonight. If you haven't seen the raffles prizes, please have a look at in the break, and Ivan will do the draw then. My thanks to all the companies who gave so generously. This is our 7th hair show, and in that time we've raised over £16,000 for the hospice, a figure which we're very proud of, and it has been with your help, so we do appreciate that. And to tell you what we do, or what the hospice does with the money, can I introduce Nicola Acton. Thank you, Nicola.
Just before I say a little bit about the hospice, I just want to express our thanks on behalf of the hospice to Graham and Mari and the whole team at FHC for organising this event, as Graham said, for the 7th year. You know, I know last year they raised over £2,000 on the night, and we really want to beat that tonight. So dig deep, as he said, the raffle prizes are phenomenal, to the point that I'm supposed to be a fundraiser. We don't get raffle prizes as good as that. So dig deep, get your raffle tickets, because they have got some absolutely phenomenal prizes. We're thinking of nabbing the person that got all the raffle prizes later to come and work for us. So yeah, and also, as Graham said, these guys have been supporting us since, I think, 2002, and have raised £16,000 for the hospice. That in itself deserves a round of applause. I got my calculator out earlier, just to give you a few examples of what that £16,000 could have paid for in today's money at the hospice. And I think sometimes we raise money for charity, and you know, we can't always quantify exactly what it's paid for, because we just hear big numbers floated around. So, as I say, I've got my calculator out. We run daycare sessions. Daycare sessions are for patients. We do it twice a week, and about 15 patients can come in and they can get involved in social activities, maybe see the hairdresser, maybe see a therapist. And for some of those people, that's the only time they get out that week. That one of our drivers might go and pick them up. Okay? That money could have paid for something like 40 to 50 daycare sessions for up to 15 patients. So that's making a big, big difference. We also do quite a lot of therapy these days, physiotherapy, occupational therapy, complementary therapy. And that's really important to the quality of life of some of our patients. That money that FHC raised could have paid for, I need to check my numbers here, I should put the glasses on, about 150 days worth of physiotherapy. Again, an amazing an amazing contribution. Alternatively, if we think about our inpatient units, one patient in our inpatient unit, that's where a lot of the money is spent. But nursing, that money could have paid for over 50 days of nursing for a patient on our inpatient unit. So again, it's real, it makes it tangible, what the money that is being raised goes towards. So again, a big, big thank you to FHC for all their support, and of course for everybody that comes to these events and supports us at them. So just talking, a little bit more specifically just about the hospice and focusing on numbers again. It costs us, I think it's in your little brochure that you've been given this evening. It costs us around 3.3 million a year to run St Michael's Hospice. We get around 20% funding from Hampshire, what is currently Hampshire Primary Care Trust. That leaves us around 2.7 million a year to raise through the local community. And we raise that money through our fundraising and through our retail shops, so our 7 retail shops and our furniture store. And so basically that money is coming from the local community, from people like you guys, and that's how we maintain our services. That would be an awful lot higher if it wasn't for our volunteers. We have something like 750 volunteers at St Michael's Hospice that do a whole range of different roles for us. We don't have to pay people. We do pay people, of course we do, but we have a massive volunteers that contribute an enormous amount of money by volunteering their time. That can be anything from working in daycare, from working on our inpatient unit, arranging flowers, maintaining the garden, doing house-to-house collections, helping us at our events, stuffing envelopes, counting money. I could go on endlessly the amount of roles that our volunteers do. But without them, those numbers that we need to raise would be even higher. Some of you may know it's our 20th anniversary this year, so big celebration coming up for us. I think we must have started nearly the same time as FHC Care. It was actually in 1989, we got Hilarious Night. The mayor in those days was a lady called Councillor Martha Weston. And in 1989, she launched an appeal, basically, to get a hospice in the town of Basingstoke. It took about 3 years. It was 1992 when the hospice finally opened. And in that time, enough money had been raised to renovate the building on the existing site of hospice, which is where we are today, but also to build a purpose-built hospice wing, so we have a purpose-built hospital. So in 1992, the doors opened first to our inpatient, as I've talked about, and also our, what we call residential care, so our inpatient units as well. So 20 years has been going. The demand for our services has grown enormously. Obviously, care has improved, people live longer, and so the demand for all our services has grown an awful lot. Just while I'm on the 20th anniversary, before I talk a little bit about what our services at the hospice, we have got a number of celebration events this year that you're all invited to. On the 27th of May, we'll be having a fete in the Hospice Gardens, Sunday the 27th of May, so if you've got your diaries, put that in your diaries now. We'll also be having a big bumper lottery draw later in the year, so big prizes to be won there. And there'll be a celebration event in Winchester Cathedral in November. So watch this space for lots of stuff happening at the hospice this year. So, as I said, we're in 2012 now, 20 years on, and the demand for our services has grown enormously. We started off with daycare and our inpatient units that still remain really, really important. We're a hospice. What we're about is providing quality palliative care to people with life-limiting illnesses. Okay, and and by people coming into the hospice with daycare and our inpatient unit, that's what we're providing. But, we do a lot more than that these days. One of the key developments over recent years has been our hospice at home service, where our nurses go out into people's homes, which is where a lot of people want to be. They don't want to have to go and stay in a hospital or a hospice. So nurses might go out into the home, and they may just go for symptom control, to administer pain-relieving drugs, or it may be for terminal care. We've also recently, as some of you know, had a new therapy centre built, and I've touched on therapy already. We treat our patients holistically, we look at the whole body. So complementary therapy, physiotherapy, occupational therapy are really, really important. A good example I was going to talk about is these aromatherapy sticks. I'm no expert in this, by the way, but these little aromatherapy sticks that people can sniff, and it helps prevent or ease nausea. And if somebody can eat, then they're going to be physically a little bit better. So that's the sort of thing where complementary therapy can play a real part in treating a life-limiting illness. And one of the other big growth areas is our bereavement services. and we have a massive demand for our bereavement services for families of people who unfortunately passed away. Another key thing that we look to do is to, when a patient is diagnosed with a life-limiting illness, two things are really important: their quality of life, and within that, their independence. You know, and by not having to come into a hospital, that's a really, really important thing. So we now have some other new things that have started. One's called our therapeutic programme, one's called our day case services, where people can be coming for the day to be treated, and it's tailored towards them. It might be they need to come in perhaps for a blood transfusion, they can go home again. We do that now at the hospice. Or they might be part of our therapeutic programme, where they perhaps come in for 6 weeks, come in one day a week for 6 weeks, see a specialist, see a therapist, but it's tailored to their needs. Another thing that's recently been launched is our motor neuron disease clinic. Obviously for patients with motor neuron disease. Often, and I was guilty of this as well, I used to think that hospices were perhaps just about, or primarily about cancer patients, and they're not. It's about people with any form of life-limiting illness, and we treat a lot of people with motor neuron disease, with end-of-life renal failure, and end-of-life heart as well. And that makes a massive difference to patients with motor neuron disease. And the Mayor and I were just talking earlier about the launch of the Alzheimer's Cafe that now also takes place at the hospice. That is done in conjunction with another charity, the Prince's Walk Trust for Carers, and also a carers group that also happens at the hospice. So you can see that the money we raise at things like this goes into a mass of different areas within the hospice, helping patients with life-limiting illnesses. Over 85% of our patients that come into our inpatient unit come in for symptom control, and they go home again. The average length of stay is about 10 days. I tell you this again because sometimes, and again, I was probably guilty of this, sometimes I just think of hospices as being end-of-life or terminal care, and it's much, much more than that. And sadly, about 50% of our patients are under 65. It isn't just about the old people. But one thing that's really, really important to say is why sometimes we think hospice is a really sad place, and hospices can be really sad places. A lot of the time at our hospice, and my colleagues will back me up on this, and I know there's some volunteers in the room as well, and I'm sure they will agree, there's often an awful lot of joy and laughter at the hospice. And that joy and laughter is a result of people like yourselves donating to the hospice that allow us to provide the type of care that we provide that facilitates that joy and that laughter. So I just want to, we come in to see a great hair show hopefully tonight. So I just want to say once again, on behalf of the hospice, on behalf of the patients, their families and all the staff and everybody involved at the hospice, a big, big thank you to all your support, and I hope you enjoy this evening. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Nicola. Our theme tonight is glamour fantasy. But first of all, let's see our male models. Sam? Jack?
I pick to the beat,
Daniel?
This is how I roll, and I'm
And Tom?
It's Red Bull with the big ass bra, and like Bruce Lee, but I got the clout, yeah. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. I work out. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. I work out when I walk in the spot. This is what I see. Everybody stops and staring at me. I got passion in my pants, and I ain't afraid to show it, show it, show it, show it. I'm sexy and I know it.
We've had trouble keeping Sam. We're getting overexcited. Thank you, Sam.
Sexy and I know
Now,
it.
Jack.
Yeah, when I'm at your mall, you really just can't buy them all. And when I'm at the beach, I'm in the speedo trying to tan the cheeks. This is how I roll, the parlay, it's time to go. We head to the bar, every company does no shoes, no shirt, and I still get service. Wow! Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. I work out.
Jack.